Welcome to Vertical iPECS 1. In this video, we will review how to log into Vertical iPECS 1 as well as the features available. To begin, for best results, open Google Chrome and browse to www.ipecscloud-1.vertical.com. Again, ipecscloud-1.vertical.com. Here you will enter in your username and password that will be provided to you by your system administrator. As with other web pages, Chrome will allow you to save these settings for easy access to this page going forward. For those who have a desk telephone and want to use the iPECS 1 option to control your calls, you will want to make one adjustment prior to logging in. Before clicking Login, click on the gear icon in the upper right-hand corner of the screen and click the phone control option. This will allow you to transfer calls using iPECS 1 while speaking to callers via your handset. You can toggle this on and off just by clicking on that option. I will now click Login to access my iPECS 1 page, which will load and show me my home page. As you can see on the home page, this will show me any missed calls that I have had since my last login, as well as any new voicemail messages in my mailbox to retrieve. I can click on these items to go to those sections of the application. From the home screen, you can also turn on call forwarding. As you can see, I already have a destination that's been defined here, but I can modify that by clicking on the gear next to call forward. And here I can clear the number that's in there. I can key in an extension number if I want an extension number to be the destination for my forwarded calls, or if I want it to be an outside number, I can go ahead and enter in 9 and the telephone number. You want to verify with your system administrator whether or not a 9 is necessary before any calls. Once you've defined the telephone number you're going to forward to, then you can select what type of forwarding you want, whether it be unconditional, meaning no matter what, all incoming calls are going to forward to this extension or this telephone number. You can forward busy calls, no answer, or busy and no answer. So once you've determined which type you want, you can go ahead and click apply. And as we can see, that's automatically turned on the call forwarding for my extension, and I can toggle that on and off just by clicking on that icon to activate and deactivate the call forwarding option. In addition to logging in to your iPECS 1 desktop application using your username and password, you also should receive an email which will allow you to log in using a link. That email will come to you from noreply@ipecscloud.com, which you can see highlighted on the screen currently. Please make sure that you're able to receive email from that address. And to log into your desktop, scroll down in that email and you will see a link. It's a little bit lengthy, but if you click on that link, it should allow you to open up your iPECS Cloud app without needing your password. I am going to cut and paste mine just because our spam is a little crazy and it does not allow me to click on some links. So I'm just going to paste that in my Chrome browser, hit return. And as you can see, my app is now loaded. So you can use your username and password to log in, or you can use the link that will be emailed to you to log in as well. Please take note, when using the link that will be emailed to you to log into the desktop, as indicated in this email, after 1 month has passed, or if this URL link is used over 5 times, it will no longer be valid. So you will have to contact your system administrator to have a new one emailed to you. Let's talk about how to make an internal call. There's a couple of ways that you can make calls to other iPECS 1 extensions. The first way is you can click on your dial pad option, which is visible in the upper right-hand corner of any screen. So if I click on my dial pad, I can key in the extension number that I'm looking for, or I can type in the name of the person that I'm trying to reach. Whatever letters I key in will narrow the search for what I'm able to view. And once I see the extension I wish to call, I can just click on that name. It's going to populate that information, and then I can go ahead and hit my call button to actually place a call to that user. Once that happens, my view is going to change to show me the station that I'm speaking to. So now I can tell I'm speaking to this extension, and when I'm complete with this call and I want to terminate the call, I'm going to go ahead and hit my hang up key, which will end my conversation. Another way that you can reach an internal extension is by moving over to your contacts area. Within contacts, there's a couple of ways that you can categorize people. First of all, you've got your organization here. This will show every extension that's built within your system. Depending on the size of your system, the easiest way to find somebody may be to search for their name. So if I'm looking for Kevin, I can just type in KEV, and that narrows my search to whichever extension it is that I'm looking for Kevin. I can just now click on this handset, and that's going to allow me to place a call to his extension. Let me go ahead and do that to my other extension that I have next to me here. So I'm just going to click on the handset, and just like before, I'm now placing a call to that station. My display changes to show me who I'm talking to. And again, when I'm ready to terminate this call, I'm going to hit my red end key to terminate the call. You also have contacts that you can build. We'll talk about how you can create these a little bit later in this video. And there's also the capability of setting up favorites, which I have not done yet in this particular instance, but just several different ways for you to categorize other extensions for you to reach them in a timely fashion. Outbound calls. As with internal calls, there's a couple of ways to place an outbound call. Again, by bringing up the dial pad, which is visible from any screen that you view. I can click on the dial pad up in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and I can dial 9 plus my telephone number to place my call. You're going to want to consult with your system administrator to verify whether or not the 9 is required prior to placing an outbound call, but you can go ahead and dial whatever number it is that you'd like to place, and then hit your icon to actually place the call, and the call will be placed. And as you can see, the screen changes, shows you who you're talking to. And I've got this number saved in my system, so it is tying it back to the number that's actually saved within my account. As with internal call, when I'm done with this call and I want to terminate, I'm going to go ahead and hit the end icon, and that's going to end my conversation. I'm going to take myself over to the contacts section, and if we look at the left-hand side of the screen at the taskbar, when I move myself to contacts, I've got several different types of contacts. We talked about the organizational screen, which shows you your internal numbers. Where you're going to see your outside numbers is going to be in your personal directory. So your personal directory is where your outside numbers will be, and you can view these in any way that you choose to. You can also search for a number here. So if I was looking for a specific number, I could type in the name of the person that I'm looking for. And once I see it there, I can then click on the little handset next to it, and that's going to place a call through to that extension. Again, my screen's going to change. It's going to indicate to me that my call has been placed. Once it gets answered, we'll have an active call. And again, to terminate this call, I'm going to go ahead and hit the end key. Let's take a look at what it looks like to receive an inbound call. I'm going to place an internal call into my station. And what's going to happen is my desktop's going to ring, and in the lower right-hand corner, I'm going to get the toast pop up to show me who's calling. I'm going to hit the green icon to accept this call. And just as that when I placed an outbound call, I am now able to view who I'm speaking to. Got the duration of the call here. And when I'm ready to terminate this call, I'm going to go ahead and hit my end icon to terminate the call. Now I'm going to place a call from the outside the network into my system. So when that call rings in, again, I'm going to get the pop-up in the lower right-hand corner. And it's going to show me the caller ID info of where that call is coming from. Again, I'm going to go ahead and hit the green button to accept the call. If I had decided I wanted to not accept that call and send it straight to voicemail, I could have clicked on the red icon to reject the call, and that caller would have gone immediately to voicemail. So again, I'm able to see the conversation that I'm having, who I'm speaking to, and when I'm ready to terminate the call, go ahead and click that end button. Now let's review how to transfer a call. You can transfer a call to another internal extension. You can also transfer a call to an outside telephone number, and you accomplish both in the same manner. I've got a call in progress right now, and I'm going to go ahead and first demonstrate how to send a call to an internal station. I'm going to take my mouse to the bottom section of the screen, and this is my transfer icon, the handset with the arrow pointing to the right. I'm going to click on the transfer option. Now I've got the opportunity to enter in who I want to transfer this call to. If I know the extension, I can key in the extension number, and that's going to display. If I don't know the extension number and I just know the person's name, I can start spelling their name. And once I see the number that I want to send this call to, go ahead and click on that. Now I've got to decide if I'm going to do a blind transfer or a screen transfer. If I click this little box here, I'll be doing a blind transfer, which means that that call will be transferred immediately as soon as I press OK. In this first example, I'm going to do a screen transfer, which means I'm going to wait for that caller to answer and tell them that I'm sending the call. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK now, which is going to place my original caller on hold, which I can see in the upper left-hand corner. Now I'm dialing the internal extension that I want to take this call. They answer. I tell them who the call is from. They accept the call, and I go ahead and hit the end key, and that completes the transfer to that station. Calls off my phone, and they've got it live. Now let's look at how to do an external transfer. Let me go ahead and send this call back to myself. So this call is coming in to me. I'm going to answer it. And now to transfer this call to an external number, again, I'm going to come here into my transfer option, hit the transfer key. Now I can go ahead and if I know that this number that I want to transfer to is saved within my iPECS 1 account, I can spell it. And I see that I've got the library number is already programmed here, so I can go ahead and click that number. And in this instance, I am going to do a blind transfer, so I'm going to click this box. If I didn't have this number already saved here, I'm just going to go ahead and X that out. I would dial 9 and then dial the telephone number that I want to send this call to. And again, same thing, decide whether it's going to be a blind transfer or not. This will be a blind transfer, plus press OK, and that call is transferred and is now ringing at that telephone number that I have just keyed in. So those are the two types of transfers that you are able to do. Call log. The call log stores the calls in and out of your phone and allows you to return calls to people who you have spoken to previously. I want to make sure that I'm on my calls screen using my taskbar here. Make sure you're on calls. And then, as I said, you can go ahead and you can scroll through and view all the calls that you've got here. You can see that the little arrow shows whether this was an inbound call or an outbound call. So this is a call that I placed because the arrow is going away from my handset. And this is a call that I received because the arrow is pointing towards the handset. So it came into my station. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll back up here to the top. And this is the number that I want to recall. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the handset icon here. And that is going to place a call to that telephone number. And that's all there is to placing a call via the call log. Now let's talk about how to retrieve a voicemail message. If you have a desk telephone, you will have a light illuminating your message key to let you know that you have a message. You will also see it here in your iPECS 1 app. So again, when I'm in my calls tab, we can also see that we have missed a call. That's why we've got the number 1 in the calls section of the taskbar. So when I click on that, then I can tell that I have one new voicemail that I haven't listened to yet. And if I hover over the voicemail, it tells me that I've got one new message and I have 3 saved messages. So I know when I go in here, that's what I'm going to be able to view. So I'm going to go ahead and click on voicemail, and it's actually going to open another window and take me into my client for my particular user, where I can see my voicemail messages that I have in my mailbox. So I can see that this one that's at the top is the one I haven't reviewed yet. I can go ahead and hit play. And that message is going to play over my desktop. Okay, and now if I wanted to forward this message to somebody else, I could go ahead and click forward. And then I can decide if I want this to go to a group, if I wanted to send it to a group of people that I already have defined, or if I want it to go to one specific user, which is what I'm going to choose in this instance. And when I click on my drop down here, this is going to show all the extensions that are within my particular organization. So yours may be lengthy. So if you're trying to quickly find somebody, you could key in their name, and that's going to narrow down the search of the extension that you're looking for. You can go ahead and select the person that you want to forward this message to, hit forward, asks if you are sure you want to do that. I click OK. It's thinking about it. It is sending that message, and I get a success indication that that message has been sent. The original message is still in my mailbox, though. So if I wanted to go ahead and delete this message now that I forwarded it, I can go ahead and do that. Click the delete option, hit OK. Tells me that it's successfully deleted, and now I'm still left with the 3 messages that were in my mailbox previously. I can close this window if I want, or just jump back over here to my iPECS 1 screen and go on with my calls. In most instances, if you have voicemail, you have it forwarding to your email inbox. When you get a new voicemail, you will get the message sent to your inbox as well. The message is going to come from iPECS Cloud, and then it will give you an attachment, which is the WAV file, which is the actual message that the caller left. So if I click on this and hit open, now my media player will open this message up, play it over the speaker of my computer. The one thing that you do not get here is the ability to forward this to somebody else unless you forward the entire email to somebody else. So once I've listened to this, if I wanted to forward it via email, then I could go ahead and I could click the forward key just like I could any other email and send that message on to anybody else. Please note, depending on how your system is set up, that the message that you have just retrieved may still be in your mailbox. So you may have to go into your telephone or come here into the iPECS 1 app and delete that message. You want to consult your system administrator as to how your particular extension is defined. Okay, now let's discuss the chat option. Chat is sometimes called instant messaging or texting, but in iPECS 1 we call it chat. So viewing my taskbar on the left-hand side of the screen, I'm going to click on the chat option. And I can click on my recent to see what chat sessions I have open still within my user. However, when you initially log into your system, you won't have any chats unless someone has sent you a chat. So to create a chat with somebody, you're going to come up to the top right area of the screen, and you see if I hover over what looks like a piece of paper with a pen on it, I can create a space or a chat. So I'm going to click there. And now I'm going to click on create chat because that's what I want to do. And now I'm going to go ahead and search for the person that I want to invite to a chat. So I'm going to ask Daryl a question via chat. So I'm going to go ahead and select his station, click OK. And now I have a chat open with Daryl. So I can go ahead and type a message, whatever I need to say. And when I hit send, that's going to pop up on his extension. Let me go ahead and just move to my call screen here for a second. I'm going to send a chat to myself from my other user here. I already have it typed up. Let me go ahead and hit send. And I don't know if you heard that little ding dong, but that was my mobile phone alerting me that I have a text message or a chat message to review. And I can see that I have an indication on my screen as well that I have one chat to read. So I'm going to click on chat, and this opens up to show me that the message that came from my second phone said, what time's that meeting today? I can go ahead and answer the question and hit send, and that answer to that text forwards on to that particular individual. Now, if I wanted to call this person, let's say they asked me a question that was a little too involved to text back, you can see that you can click on the handset here, and that will actually call that station. So then I can place a call to them to say, hey, there's just a little bit too much to get into. Let me tell you what the deal is. So it easily allows you to place a call through to that station. So I'm going to go ahead and hang up here. You can also set up chats with multiple people. So if there's a group of people that you normally work on projects with and you want to set up a chat and send the same information to more than one person, you've got that capability as well. So again, I'm going to come up to the top of the screen, click on create, and I want to create a chat. And let's say I want to create a chat with Daryl and with Kevin. So I'm going to key in the first few letters of the person that I want to add to this chat. This is Kevin, who I want to add in here. So I've got 2 users that are in this chat. Go ahead and hit OK. And again, then it's going to create this chat, and I can see that I am in a chat with Daryl and with Kevin. If I click on my recents, it will also show me that there, and I've got the 2 little circles indicating this is a multi-party chat. And then the same thing applies when you're sending a chat to a multiple group as opposed to just a single user. Click down here and tell them what you need to tell them and hit send. And that message will go on through to those other users. And then once again, if they respond back, you will get this indication back in the chat session within your particular user. Now let's take a look at the call park feature. The call park feature allows you to take a call and place it into a holding pattern so that it can be picked up either by yourself again or anybody else within your organization. I have a call here that's in progress, and I can put this call on hold, which is what the 2 little slashes allow me to do. I can hit the hold button, and that places the call on hold, and then I can hit the same icon to retrieve the call. But that's all I can do. I can put it on hold, and I can pick it back up. Let's say I need to put this call on hold so that I can tell somebody to pick that up elsewhere in the organization, and I might not know where that person's at. So this would be a good example of when I would use the call park feature. So while I'm speaking to my party, I'm going to click on these 3 dots that are next to my transfer key. Click on that, and then you can see call park is one of your options. So I'm going to go ahead and click on call park. Enter in the parking location. So the parking spaces are predefined numbers. They're 000 to 999, so plenty of places to park as many calls as you want. If I wanted to put this in parking space number 001, now I'm just going to key in 001 on my keypad, click OK, and I should get an indication at the bottom of my screen that call has now been successfully parked. Now I would go ahead and just give the person that I want to retrieve this call a heads up, send them an instant message, give them a call, tell them that the call is in parking space number 1. And to pick that call up, they can go ahead and hit retrieve and then key in the parking space that the call's in, 001, hit retrieve, and I've now picked up that call. There's so many parking spaces that if you wanted to use a really obscure number or maybe one that matches your extension, then that would allow you to put a call into a parking space and be assured that there is not another call in there taking up that spot. If you try to park a call in a spot that's busy, it would give you an indication on your display that the call was not able to be parked, which would indicate to you that you needed to select a different parking spot to put that call into. The default timer for call park is 180 seconds. However, you should consult your system administrator to see if that timer has been adjusted. Once the ringback timer has been reached, that call will recall to the station that initially parked it. Call pickup. The call pickup feature allows you to pick up a call that's ringing in your pickup group, or you can pick up a call that's ringing on a specific extension. If your user is set up in a group such as accounting or HR or parts or whatever, and one of the phones that are within that particular group that you are a member of, if one of those phones is ringing and you want to answer that call, you're going to click on the pickup feature here. And then if you want to pick up a call that's ringing within your group, you're just going to go ahead and then click pickup again, and that's going to allow you to grab that call. If it's a specific extension that you want to pick up that's ringing, you're going to key in that extension number and then hit the pickup key to grab that call. Now let's take a look at some settings that are specific to your user that you have the ability to modify. If you look in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you should see a dot that has your initials in it. And mine is showing with a little green dot because my user is set to available currently. If I click on my initials, it opens up the options that I have available to myself here. You can see that currently my present status is online. So what that means is anybody who goes to view my station in the organization is going to see that I am online. So I'm available to take a call. But if I change my status to busy, and I see that that has changed for other users. Now, anybody who tries to look for my extension to call me is going to see that I'm busy. It will also indicate that you're busy if you are on the telephone. And the third option that we have is do not disturb. If you select the do not disturb option, the system will ask you to confirm that that's what you want to do. So I'll go ahead and click that. Okay. What that means now that I'm in the do not disturb mode, any call that comes to my station, whether it's from inside or outside, is going to go straight to voicemail. And I will stay in the do not disturb mode until I turn it off. So I'm going to go ahead and come up here to my initial again, and then change my present status to online. And then I'll be able to go ahead and receive calls again. The notification icon, you're going to want to make sure that that's turned on, toggles on and off. With it on, that means that your phone will ring or the app will actually ring on your desktop as you receive a new call. If you turn it off, you're not going to get any notification that anything's happening with your app. So please make sure that that's left on. The next option is call forwarding. Now, when you first get into your account, this will be blank. I have call forwarding set to extension 105 right now. So if you wanted to activate call forwarding, you could click on the little gear here and then select the destination. So I'm sending it to my secondary extension, but if I wanted to change that and have it go to a telephone number, I could click on the X to clear that out. This is what yours would look like when it's empty. I'm going to key in the extension number, or if it's an outside telephone number, exactly how I would have to dial it to place a call to that station. So if I need to dial 9 before numbers, then I need to go ahead and enter that 9 and my area code and the number that I'm forwarding to. Then you want to select what type of forwarding you're going to do, whether it be unconditional, busy, no answer, or busy and no answer. I'm selecting unconditional, which means that immediately these calls will forward through to whatever number it is that I've defined. I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. And then when I look at my settings here, I can see that I am call forwarded, that it is turned on. The little slide is onto the on position. And if I want to turn that off, I can just click here and turn that off. Now, a good reason why you might want to use the call forwarding option to your cell phone is if you are in an area where you're not able to get a good signal via your cellular provider and you're not on Wi-Fi, but you're going to want to be able to take and receive calls. If you turn the call forwarding on, then the call is going to actually be transferred to your cell phone number. So instead of it coming to you via the app on your mobile phone, it will actually call your mobile phone telephone number and allow the call to be passed on to you in that fashion. So again, to turn that on and off, just go ahead and click the little toggle button and that will turn it on or off. You have the anonymous call reject. And if that's activated, what that means is if you receive a call from a telephone number that is not defined, if they're trying to send blank nothing, no digits, no caller ID whatsoever, those calls with this feature activated would immediately forward onto your voicemail. And again, we got to toggle on and toggle off here. Settings here is where another few things that you've got the ability to change. You can set the sound for notification and ring. Do you want that on or off? Of course, you're going to want to have that on. Preview text, I would leave that on because that allows you to view the text before you send it. And then you've got a few different ringtones. There are 4 different ringtones. You can play with those, select which one you want. Have somebody call you, test it out, see which of those ringtones you prefer, and then leave it set at that particular ringer. You can also, if you're going to be using a headset with your desktop, you can define via audio here what device do you want your conversations to go through. So I'm using my headset right now, which is connected to a USB port, and I have that selected for my microphone as well as my speaker. So if you do have something else plugged into your desktop for your audio to go through, you can go ahead and make that selection there. Now let's talk about how we can change the note that's defined my station here. So if I look at my extension, I can see that I have myself showing that I'm doing iPECS training right now. But if I wanted to edit what that shows me, I could click here, and then with my little X is going to delete it. And now I can let people know what's up with me. Maybe I'm on vacation until whenever. And you see, you also have the ability to enter a job title here. And then I can go ahead and hit OK. And then what that does is it changes my status. So somebody who's looking at my extension, when they come here and go to look at my extension, they can see that I'm on vacation. So let's say I have my Do Not Disturb turned on. And somebody's got a call that they want to try and send to me. So they click on my extension. Why am I on Do Not Disturb? Oh, I'm on vacation until this particular date. So they would know that they could send that call to somebody else, put it to voicemail, whatever, but they know what my status is. Go ahead and go back in here. The other option that you have here is that you can set a photo for your user so that other parties are able to see what you look like. I know for us, we have employees scattered all over the country, and sometimes you never actually meet each other face to face, but this way you know what they look like as you're speaking to them. So if I wanted to modify or activate a photo for this option, I'm going to click in the little circle with my initials in it, and I'm going to change the picture. And now I'm going to browse to where I've got this photo saved and double click on the picture. It inputs it in my little circle here. I hit OK. And now I have my photo is visible to anybody else who tries to call my station. You go ahead and turn my Do Not Disturb off. I want to go back online. There we go. Okay, and so that allows me to put a picture in. If I want to remove the picture, I can go back into Edit, and then when I click on the picture, it lets me remove it, or I can change it to a different photo if I like to. Conference calling. Conference calling gives you the ability to tie multiple parties together in a singular conversation. I've got an active call here, and if I want to add somebody else to this conversation, the way I'm going to do that is in the upper right-hand corner, you've got the little icon of the person. If I click on that, it shows me the current participants of this call. And then down in the bottom right corner, I've got the little blue bubble with a person and a plus sign that will allow me to add somebody else to this call. So I'm going to click on that bubble. And now I'm going to go ahead and key in the number that I want to add to this conversation. And if it's something that you have saved in your system, you'll be able to see that. You can go ahead and click on it and then go ahead and hit invite. And what's going to happen now is the first party's been placed on hold, which we can see in the upper left-hand corner. The second party has been dialed. They answered. Now we're talking to the second party. To join all parties together, if you look in the bottom section of the screen, the little person with the plus sign, we hover over it, it shows us it's the conference option. And if I click there, now all parties will be joined together. There is a little beep that alerts everybody that you're being connected. And now we've got all these parties as a member of this call. If I wanted to add another person to this call, I could do that by just repeating the same process. So again, up at the top, hit the little person icon. I see my current participants. Press the plus sign at the bottom of the screen. Dial the next party. And then hit invite. Again, that's then going to place those parties on hold while I'm calling the next party. Once they answer, again, down at the bottom of the screen, I'm going to hit the conference option. And as we see, we've got all of these parties involved in this conversation. Now you can exit this conversation, and that will leave the rest of the parties still connected. So please note that those calls will still be in process if you end the conversation. Let's take a look at what your options are when you have an active call. The conversation I'm having presently is an internal call with my secondary extension. And if I look down at the bottom of the screen, I have several features available. I have the mute option, which if I tap that, it lights up and I can still hear the party, but they cannot hear me until I turn my mute feature off. The second feature is the hold feature. If I hit the hold icon, that's going to place the caller on hold, and they will hear music if that's been defined for my station. And to reclaim that caller, I'm going to tap the same area to retrieve that call. We discussed this feature earlier, but to transfer a call, here's my transfer icon to do that. And these three dots that are here, if we click on that, that's going to give us some more options. So we've got the ability to bring the keypad back up, and that may be something that you need to do if the number that you're calling has an automated attendant and you need to either dial an extension number or make a selection off of their menu. Then the dial pad will allow you to key in whatever digits you need to route yourself through that auto attendant. You also have the ability to record a call. Once you start recording, the conversation will begin from that particular moment in time when you hit the record button, and it will terminate once the call ends, or you terminate the record option manually. We discussed the call park option in a previous video. And lastly, because I'm having a conversation with an internal call, we do have the capability of switching this to a video call. So if while I'm speaking to another iPECS user within my organization, we decide now we want to have a video call, you can click here and it will prompt both of you to accept that video call, and then it will switch from just audio to video as well. Call forwarding. I know we reviewed this feature when we discussed the user-specific options, but I want to just touch on that one more time all by itself. So to access the call forwarding, in the upper right-hand corner, you're going to click on the little circle that has your initials or your photo in it. And then in the middle of this window that pops up, you'll see you have the call forwarding option. If you do not have a number determined as to where you want to forward to, go ahead and just click on the gear, and that's going to open up the call forwarding settings, and here's where you can define the number you want to forward your calls to. So if you're forwarding to an outside number, you want to make sure if you need to dial a 9 before the number, be sure to enter that in, and then the telephone number that you want to send your calls to. And then you have to decide what type of forwarding you're going to do. Unconditional forwarding means every single call that comes to my station will automatically forward to this number that I've defined. You can also set your busy, your no answer, or your busy and no answer calls to forward to this number as well. Once you've decided what type of forwarding you want to use, go ahead and click apply. And when I go back and click on my picture or my initials, I can see that my call forwarding is now active. If you have a telephone on your desk, your telephone will also reflect that your phone is currently forwarded. And to toggle this on and off, all I have to do is just tap that little icon, the blue goes away, and now the call forwarding is deactivated. Earlier, we talked about how to retrieve messages. Now let's talk about how to set up your outgoing greeting on your voicemail box. Each mailbox has a default greeting that will be in place until you go in and record a greeting specific to you. So the way you're going to access your mailbox is from your dial pad. You're going to go ahead and key in 801. You just go ahead and backspace there and dial in 801 again. I'm going to hit my call button, and that is going to take me into the voicemail system. Now, you're not going to be able to hear the options because I'm on my headset here, but what I'm going to do is open up my keypad. It's asked me to enter in my extension number plus pound. So that's 104 for me and pound. It's now going to ask me to enter my password, which is 1234 for myself, and then pound. And at that point, it's going to give me the voicemail prompts. To get to the section to record my greeting, I would go ahead and press the number 4. And from there, I can press 1 to listen to the current greeting, or press 2 to record a new greeting. And it will prompt you what to do to end your recording, and again, allow you to listen to that greeting. If you don't like it, you can go ahead and continue to record it as many times as it takes to get it right. Once you get that mailbox greeting in there, anybody who gets into your mailbox will hear that particular greeting and then be able to leave you a message after that. I spoke earlier about the ability to import contacts into your iPECS 1 account. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how to do that. First of all, you're going to want to export your contacts out of Excel. And then it's probably going to be a good idea if you open it up and delete the names and numbers that you may not truly want to import into this list. And another thing that you'll have to do is if you have to dial a 9 before your digits to call a telephone number, you're going to want to add the 9 in this field, any field that has telephone numbers. And there is a formula that you can use to do that easily and have Excel do it for you. But you do want to go ahead and make sure you've got the 9 in front of these numbers before you do your import. I'd go ahead and talk to your IT people if you need help, or you can Google it, how to insert a digit in a column there. Okay, so once I've got the file saved to my desktop, then to import those numbers, I'm going to, in the upper right-hand corner, I'm going to have this little circle that either has my photo in it or has my initials in it. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to come down here to settings, open up my settings, and then within settings we have the option for import contacts. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And now it's going to ask me for what CSV file it is that I actually want to enter. And so I'm going to click select file, and you can browse to wherever you've got that saved on your desktop. This is the file that I've modified here. So once I click on that, it will go ahead and populate that information. And at this point, now I'm going to select which numbers I want to import. So if I want all of them, click that top box. It's going to check all of those entries that are on the screen here. If I decide at the last minute I don't want to import one, you can just go ahead and uncheck that one, and it will not be part of the entry when I go ahead and click import here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, hit import. And I get a notice that I have successfully imported my contacts. I'm going to close this window. And now I am going to look at my personal directory here. And I can see that I've got all these new entries. And they've all got a 9 in front of them. So if I wanted to place that call, just hover over, click on the handset, and the call will be placed.